Sit down, right there, don't go nowhere, little baby gon' shake that, 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 shit, yeah, I like that, bring that, right here, sit that, right there, don't go nowhere, say yeah, I like that, bring that, right here, sit that, right there, don't go nowhere.
Welcome back, we back with another reaction video. Today we're reacting to the fractured legacy of Kevin Durant. This is the NBA nerd video. Let's get right into it. Oh, about a loop, nigga. Hold on, bro. Full screen me, please. Thank you.
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar.
Don't walk around talking about you a champion.
But they asked him to do it again, and he didn't. They asked him to do it again, and he couldn't.
Stop talking about KD like he this legendary demon.
We just don't talk about Kevin Durant in the same light. It's not because of basketball. It's because of his decisions.
That was the
Oklahoma City, and they come back from a 3-1 deficit. The Warriors do it by becoming only the 10th team out of 233 to win a best-of-7 series while trailing 3-1.
Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder failed to get back to the finals after being up 3-1 against the then defending champions, the Golden State Warriors. This marking the 4th time he was unable to make it back to the NBA Finals since 2012. He was entering free agency in the summer of 2016, and he met with multiple teams during that time. Many speculated on where he would end up, and many assumed he would re-up with the Thunder and run it back for another chance at getting a title. But on the 4th of July, KD would announce to the world where he decided to sign.
Breaking news. Happened. It's here. And it's Golden State for Kevin Durant.
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar.
Wow, a 73-19. They knocked you out, and then you went and joined them.
Lost respect for him.
It's going to change forever the way we look at him.
Kevin Durant had a great team. He was up 3-1.
As I told you before the season began, that damn Kevin Durant ruined my season.
At this moment, he would sign a deal that would forever impact his legacy. From this point forward, he finally had enough with wanting to be second place. And he took matters into his own hands, and he fully embraced being the villain, and he felt that it was the right decision. But in the end, what was once viewed as the most liked player turned into the most hated player in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors had now the greatest team ever assembled, and everyone clearly knew what was going to happen for the next 4 seasons. It was already pre-written, and everyone just had to stand by and watch. If the Warriors were healthy, KD was going to be crowned a champion, and when it came time for that, Durant did just that.
Good veterans on their bench. Pass all the way across, and Durant throws it down. That is, goes back up, blocked from behind by Durant. It's an offensive rebound, back to Durant, knocks down the 3. Durant makes it look so easy.
In the middle of the floor.
Durant for 3. That's good, and a foul. Chance for a 4-point play.
Incredible opportunity.
Durant for 3. It's good.
My bad memory. He was walling LeBron off. Oh shit! I didn't know what to do, bro. You're like, damn, he gonna pull up. No.
Kevin Durant from downtown. Durant fires a 3. Knocks it down. Kevin Durant. Huge height advantage. No problem for Kevin Durant. Shot clock at 5. Kevin Durant way outside. Delivers. Kevin Durant from downtown. It's a 6-point game. There it is. Redemption for Golden State. The Warriors are NBA champions again.
He's been a perennial all-star. He's been the league MVP. And this year, the back-to-back NBA Finals MVP, Kevin Durant.
Today, KD is the best basketball player on the face of the planet.
I thought he was vindicated and validated.
Is that the best player in the game right now?
Yes, it is. There is nothing offensively that he can't do.
Kevin Durant dominated in the NBA Finals in both years, beating LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers twice, and he was crowned with 2 championships and rewarded as the Finals MVP in both series. He was viewed as the best player in the world, and no one could touch him at this point. So it only seemed fitting that he would stay with Golden State for the rest of his career and win more championships, or so he thought.
What do you know?
Here's what happened. Once the play fell apart, obviously they go into overtime. They go towards the bench, and Kevin Durant was like, I was asking for the ball. Why didn't you give me the ball, et cetera, et cetera. Draymond Green just went off. Process of Draymond Green going off, he brought up Kevin Durant's contract. Draymond Green said to Kevin Durant, essentially, you got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. 2019 was a year where Kevin Durant faced something that he did not expect. Draymond Green, a teammate who he considered a friend, called him out and said the Warriors did not need him and they can win without him. This all stemmed from the fact that Kevin Durant was entering free agency and nobody knew where he was going to sign, and Draymond definitely felt that Kevin Durant was thinking about leaving and jumping ship. But after this interaction between Draymond and KD, there was no going back. The season would go on and the Warriors would dominate as per usual and managed to make it to the NBA Finals for the 5th straight year. But Kevin Durant experienced an injury that would sideline him seemingly for the rest of the playoffs during the Houston Rockets series. And during the NBA Finals, the Warriors without KD would struggle as they would go down 3-1 as they were experiencing injuries, and Stephen Curry was just out there playing by himself for some of these games. And with them being desperate, they would rush Kevin Durant back onto the floor in Game 5, but the Warriors would look like a team that they were before Kevin got hurt. And then that is when it happened.
Ibaka trying to stay with Durant, knocks it away, and Durant slipping. And Durant grabbing that right leg.
The Warriors lost the finals, and Durant tore his Achilles, and his career potentially was at risk now. But now he had a decision to make on whether or not he would remain a Warrior, or will he decide to join a new team? And on July 7th, 2019, we got his answer.
Adrian Wojnarowski reporting that Kevin Durant is in fact headed to Brooklyn.
Speak to that at all, the relationship you had with Draymond Green. Did that play a role in you leaving Golden State?
A little bit, yeah, for sure.
He went there thinking maybe Draymond will become my best friend, and they had a terrible falling out.
The guy under the most pressure is Kevin Durant. You have to win.
Durant signing with the Nets alongside Kyrie would mean a new era for basketball. This was a young team with amazing talent, and while Kevin Durant did miss the 2020 season due to his injury, we would get his long-awaited return during the 2020-2021 season. KD would come back and play even better than he did before he got injured. And him playing at a high level after tearing his Achilles was definitely exciting and something that we were all glad to see.
That man said played even better than he did after. Do you remember KD before the Achilles tear, nigga? Are you lying? You be lying, bro. I get it, bro. Like, bro, do your thing, bro. But you embellishing like that nigga was not bad. Bro, that nigga used to get downhill like a dick. That nigga be chatting, bro.
The Nets looked like a team that would give KD a chance to redeem himself and maybe win a championship and prove that he can be the leader of his own team and not have a super team assembled. How wrong we were. The Nets now assembled 3 of the best scorers in the NBA, and it seemed we had another super team on our hands. But Durant was getting criticized once again for having yet another stacked roster after it appeared like he was trying to further himself away from that narrative. But to KD, he didn't care about anything else but winning more championships. The Nets during that season would show their level of dominance. Even though Kyrie, Harden, and KD weren't playing together as much, they were still one of the best teams in the NBA and in the Eastern Conference. They would head into the NBA playoffs with one goal in mind: to win. They were matched up against the Boston Celtics without Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum was the only one putting up a fight against the three-headed dragon. The Nets were too dominant and would easily dispose the Celtics in 5 games. The Nets in the second round, however, had a tougher matchup as they were put up against the Milwaukee Bucks, who had the best player in the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he was having a dominant season for his team. But the Nets would actually go up 2-0 in this series and would win in a convincing way after a Game 2 blowout. The only issue, however, was James Harden would suffer a hamstring injury. Then it would only get worse, as Kevin Durant would lose yet another teammate as Kyrie would suffer an ankle sprain in Game 4 that would sideline him for the remainder of the playoffs. So Kevin Durant was now on his own, and he was flying solo. And the Nets definitely needed KD to show up in the playoffs. And in Game 5, with a potential to go up 3-2 in the series, Durant would pull off one of the greatest playoff games in NBA history.
Quarter. Durant with the pull-up. Yes! 11 of the last 14 points for Milwaukee. Friendly rim.
So much better on the offensive end.
Beautiful pass by Harden. Durant lays it home. In the warm-ups, prior to the warm-ups, Harden said he felt ready to play. Here's Durant on the drive going all the way.
What a
This crowd is back on the floor for the Nets. Durant with that feathery touch has not forced anything. That was right from the start. Durant for three. And using the screen for three. Yes!
Just so impressive, Marv.
And Durant on cue hits again. Good crush the defense by Milwaukee. Now Durant fires and hits with the shot clock running down. He hits from down. So the Nets bounce back from the
Due to KD's heroics, he would have the greatest game of his life and lead the Nets to a 3-2 lead and had the opportunity to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. However, the Bucks would defend home court in Game 6 and they would force a Game 7, and this game was a dogfight throughout. The Nets as a whole were really struggling to find guys to show up and support KD. They would get James Harden back, but he was not playing the same. And in the fourth quarter down the stretch, the Bucks would respond and have a lead that looked to be a wrap. But the Nets would hold down the fort and battle back, and with the game in the balance, with the city of Brooklyn on his shoulders, KD had to respond.
Durant, here is Durant moving on Tucker. He turns, he shoots. Yes! With 1 second remaining.
What seemed to be a three-pointer that won them the game would end up sending them to a 5-minute sudden death because Kevin Durant's foot was unfortunately on the line. But Kevin Durant definitely was determined to get them to the Eastern Conference Finals. He just had to show up in overtime.
Guarded by Holiday. Durant for three. Comes up with an air ball. Harris just flips it over to Jeff Green. Now that does it. The Bucks with the 115-111 victory over the Brooklyn Nets.
The level of blame that you would assess to the greatest player on the planet currently is what Kevin Durant deserved. Well, Kevin Durant in overtime was 0 for 6, and he airballed the last shot. Everybody was quick to jump.
He was tired, man. He was tired, man. He was carrying, man. Like, bro, sports debate shows are so disingenuous, my nigga. Everybody trying to look for that aha moment. Oh, let me prove a point. No, nigga, he was tired. That nigga not no robot. I'm confused, man. You seen what he was doing. That's one of the ones where it's not on me, bro. Like, you gonna have to blame like the basketball gods or something, bro. Blame Kyrie leg. It was an ankle, right? Blame James Harden hamstring. don't blame me. That's crazy.
Jump on the bandwagon. Kevin Durant is the best player on the planet on Tuesday because he had a historic performance, and there's no denying that. But they asked him to do it again, and he didn't. They asked him to do it again, and he couldn't.
With all that he could give, he had an amazing game, and he did his best, but it was not enough. And while he had one of the greatest stretches of games, no one really cared, as he did not score in overtime, and that definitely was not a good look for him. And in the 2022 season, it really went downhill for the Nets, especially for KD. Kyrie Irving was someone who would always be reliable when you needed him, but then the vaccine became something that every player needed to take, and Kyrie refused. The Nets would play without Kyrie for a period of time, and Harden would grow tired with the Nets as he was not willing to be in a situation where he was not winning a title and having teammates not show up and be there for the team. As he would request a trade that would send him to the Philadelphia 76ers, the Nets would get Kyrie back for the season.
Sir, I don't think James Harden makes good decisions for his career. All right, boom, but the Rockets, you getting traded to the Rockets you couldn't control initially. That's fine. You did what you did. Then you try to get out of the Rockets later on after you seen they was going nowhere. Okay. Understandable. You're getting older. You want to get a ring. You go to the Nets. All right, boom. Y'all was almost in them. And like he explained it, you know, Kyrie, vaccine, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to be on the team because Kyrie isn't available? Is that it, my nigga? Nigga, JoJo was way less available. What the fuck? What? That's stupid. Like, nigga, huh? I'd rather rock out with Kyrie than me, man.
but he would be out for a certain amount of games due to COVID protocol, and the Nets would struggle for some time, and they would have to compete for the 7th seed as the Nets were in play-in contention. But luckily for them, they would beat the Cleveland Cavaliers to make it to the playoffs as the 7th seed, and they would match up in a rematch against the Boston Celtics, who had Jaylen Brown this time, and they were a better team. Game 1 would be a very entertaining one, as Kyrie Irving was having an amazing game, and Durant was being met with great defense and was nowhere to be found. This game would go down to the wire, and the final seconds were very thrilling. Jason Tatum would ice the game for the Celtics to go up 1-0 in the series, and even though that there was a heartbreaking loss for the Nets, they definitely had a chance to bounce back. But that was not something that we ended up seeing. A 4-0 sweep is something that KD has never experienced in his career, and it was something that he had to get used to because that was one of the most underwhelming series of his career. One of the first times in his career where he looked human. The Celtics played amazing defense and shut him down completely. While he would get eliminated from the playoffs
as soon
and
as
have
he tried to put a foot in the paint, reach. Thank you.
the entire NBA criticize him, things would only get worse for him.
The emotions just pouring out. It might be his 4th, but it means so much. The Golden State Warriors return to a familiar place. They're on top of the NBA world.
The 2022 Bill Russell NBA Finals MVP award goes to Stephen Curry.
Kevin Durant today is viewed as the guy who left a championship squad to try to do it on his own in Brooklyn.
Kevin Durant needed Golden State as much as the Warriors needed him. Can you imagine the conversations we're having? Kevin Durant doesn't go to Golden State. Can you imagine the conversations we're going to be having? Man's 15 years into the league with no championships. We have a very different discussion because he spent 3 years at Golden State.
The same team that swept him in the playoffs now lost to Stephen Curry in the Golden State Warriors as he was able to win his 4th championship and proving everything that what Draymond said was more true. The Warriors definitely benefited from Kevin Durant winning more championships, but the Warriors, they were able to win with and without him. And Durant was just viewed as someone who formed the super team, won 2 rings, and then left and was never able to find success afterwards. Durant at this point had to win, and he desperately needed to win for his career. And he would go on to request a trade from the Brooklyn Nets, and there was only one team that was on Durant's mind. He was now on another roster that was on paper stacked. You had Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. So was this team enough to win a championship, or was it all going to crash and burn in a terrible way? He would go on to have a great season with the Suns, and they would end the season with a 45-37 record and would head into the playoffs facing the LA Clippers. And we would get a series of Kevin Durant versus Russell Westbrook, who used to be teammates, brothers, friends, but since his departure, they were now rivals. The Clippers would steal game 1 in their building after Kawhi had an amazing game, and Russell Westbrook was giving solid plays down the stretch with a game-saving play in the 4th quarter. But Durant would torch the Clippers for the rest of the series in a gentleman's sweep, and their next opponent would be the Denver Nuggets, who last time got swept by the Suns in 2021, but everyone expected the Suns to destroy this team, especially since they got Kevin Durant on their squad. But throughout this series, while he did manage to put up good numbers, he was once again brought down a level by the Nuggets and their defense. The Suns would lose in a blowout in Game 6, and that would be Durant's 3rd time failing to make the NBA Finals since his departure from Golden State. And the narratives of him riding the coattails of Stephen Curry and the Warriors got louder and louder.
I try to tell y'all, all these bus riders, they don't mean nothing to me. If you ain't driving the bus, don't walk around talking about you a champion. If you riding the bus, I don't want to hear it.
But he was driving. You don't think he was the bus driver in Golden State?
No. What kind of dumbass question is that, nigga? Was Stephen Curry not there, nigga? He was the franchise piece that got the first ring. Nigga, shut up. Shut up. Man. They would double Steph to leave KD open. Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
No, I do
You don't
not.
think he was the best player on that team?
No, I do not.
Wow.
But the Suns would give a last-ditch attempt as they would trade DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul away as they were no longer players they needed, and they would get Bradley Beal, who was a 30 points per game scorer in Washington and would be an addition to a now three-headed monster. Would this be another super team being formed, or was it just going to be another disappointment? Some of those questions would get answered, but it wasn't the good ones. Bradley Beal and Devin Booker would be in and out of the lineups due to injury, and Kevin Durant was just out there flying solo, and the big three as a whole didn't get a chance to play that many games together. Durant would be the only saving grace, as he was clearly the best player on the team and did everything he could to keep the Suns afloat and try to push for a championship. But it was very clear that this roster did not have the pieces. It was all offense and not a lot of defense. Where did we see this before? This team traded away all of their depth to...
Yeah, but the Brooklyn team was arguably better. It's not arguably. There's nothing arguable about it, nigga. I'm definitely taking Kyrie over CP at that point, and I'm definitely taking James Harden over Devin Booker at that point. But it's not the same because I'm still taking Kyrie over Bradley Beal right now.
Make this team somewhat of a stacked roster, but those days were over and new ones were beginning, and the Suns would make the playoffs and avoid the play-in. And this was an important series for KD, as this was maybe one of his last opportunities where he had a chance to prove himself and save his legacy. But unfortunately, this series ended up being a massacre.
You know, they got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels.
In the mid-range, Anthony Edwards off glass. Likes going to his left, spins right. Oh man, he was in his bag.
So impressed with Ant. My favorite player to watch.
We're witnessing a changing of the guard in the NBA.
I told y'all yesterday that I want to kill everything in front of me. So you know, I love that guy, man, and I'm excited to play with him this summer, man. Talk a little trash and let him know I sent him home.
I think that when you look at Kevin Durant, he's one of the greatest players in the world, and we barely talk about him in a positive standpoint. And the bottom line is, Shannon, it's not because of basketball. It's because of his decision.
If he doesn't win another title, this is what they're going to remember. You leave OKC to go to Golden State. You leave Golden State to go to Brooklyn. You leave Brooklyn to go to Phoenix. What's the next move?
This would be the coming out party for Anthony Edwards. The tide was clearly turning as this series for KD was not the greatest. It was very clear to everyone watching that we were seeing the end of an era. The torch was being passed to the new generation, as it once was for himself when he faced off against one of the greatest players to ever play the game. The Suns would lose in 4 games, making this the second time in 2 years where he was swept in the playoffs, and I think it was safe to say that Durant's window was now closing. Kevin Durant will go down as one of the best players to ever play this game. He is one of the greatest scorers to ever touch a basketball. He is a consensus top 15 player of all time. He has had many moments that have proven that he will be remembered forever. But how will his legacy be remembered? When we look back at all the all-time greats, like LeBron, Kobe, Steph, Dirk, and Giannis, they all had moments where they had meltdowns and had failures. There were narratives being told about their legacies, and while they were unfair, they were valid criticisms. And in the biggest stages of their careers, they found the will to win on their own terms, and each of them had their defining moment. And when they won, it made it so much better for their careers, and that's what made them from NBA all-time greats to NBA legends. But for KD, he has had amazing moments on the biggest stage in the NBA Finals, but he has never had his defining moment for his career. His legacy will be viewed differently to many as someone who joined the greatest regular season team of all time after losing to them in a winnable series, a player who won titles but they never were viewed as real championships, someone who left a team that was able to win before and after his departure, and a player who failed to win without a super team after he left Golden State. So while Kevin Durant is a 2-time NBA champion and 2-time Finals MVP, while he has all the accolades, all the moments, all the glory, he paid the ultimate price that would leave his legacy, when it is all said and done, fractured.
I guess fractured is a good word for it. But I mean, to be honest with you, for Kevin Durant, it's all about how he sees himself. Nigga, if he still sees himself as one of them ones, nigga, I don't really think it matters. I really don't. I mean, bro, still gonna be what? He probably gonna end up with a top 10 all-time in scoring, top 7, some shit like that. I mean, brother, what can you tell him? The man is probably the only person that you could be like, yeah, bro, you could come back from an Achilles tear. Because he's the best bounce back from an Achilles tear I've ever seen. Simple. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it's not the same, but he still get buckets. That's the end of the video. I really don't have nothing for KD. Like, bro, you did what you did. You ain't fuck up. Because, nigga, I'd rather have rings than a motherfucker telling me, oh, yeah, bro, at least you stayed down for the cause. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Well, you lost me. Give me the rings, and he got the money on. And almost this the thing, right? Almost all the young niggas' favorite player and GOAT player is Kevin Durant, nigga. What more can you ask for? That alone to keep your legacy going. Like, what are we talking about? The kids don't care about this. I remember when he was getting buckets. Simple. But yeah, like I was saying, that's the end of the video, man. Make sure I like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on the videos I drop on this channel. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Stay safe, y'all.
I'm a cowboy, can't stop me, ain't to live is to come. All this pain got me feeling accomplished. See, these can't turn me into a monster. Hey, I'm a cowboy, can't stop me, to live is to come. All this pain got me feeling accomplished. See, these can't turn me into a monster. I'm a cowboy, can't stop. Hey, all that pain got me feeling jaded. Many to roll when to make it. Feel plugged into the mix, but lagging out before the update. Drop back in, different time, same location.